Well, with Jalen, before we get off of him, I do want to touch on that first quarter
Okay.
because that first quarter was rough. It
Yeah.
was it was very rough for him.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you can start the discussion with the safety that he took. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, me personally, did I know that rule? No. But that's because I've never seen it before. I don't play
Yeah.
football. I don't coach football. Nobody
Uh-huh.
pays me to do it, so
Yeah.
I don't need to know the rule.
Uh-huh.
But he does have to know that rule.
Yeah.
Where if he's in the end zone and he throws it like that,
Uh-huh.
it's going to cause a safety.
Yeah.
Um, and while we have praised him of being good once the play breaks down,
Hmm.
that was a very big exception
Yeah.
where he just, unfortunately, he made a mistake there. Um, Also, when he's running the football in some of these read options or just handling the football,
Hmm.
while it does make the offense more dynamic, he's fumbling it quite a bit,
Yeah.
which doesn't exactly stray from what we've seen with Carson in the past.
Hmm.
But it's just I wish we could move past it because I'm so sick of our quarterbacks fumbling the football twice every game. I wish we could move past that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a feeling though, like, because of his lack of training as the number one, I feel like there were just some things you couldn't handle or you couldn't get to. Like, I don't know. Like if you're a quarterback that can run, it would be assumed that you could hold the football. You know, I think his problem is knowing when to, because like once he gets started running past the line of scrimmage, I think he's fine. But his I feel like his fumbles have come from him not securing the ball in the back. Because when he knows to secure the ball, then he's good. But it's that area of recognition of like, okay, well now this play's going to crap and I have to go down. And I think later in the game, I did see him uh, more ready to go down. More like he was he understood that he made his mistakes in the earlier game and he's trying to learn. But I'm hoping that should um, should he get the chance to be our starter next season, then that's something to work on, and then this won't even be a thing. Like he's played now 2.25 worth of games, 2.5 games worth of football. Hopefully, these little things that we're seeing now just kind of go away. Should we decide to train him like that? But as far as like it makes me hopeful because he's a rookie, and these are problems that can be fixed. These are not like problems that are too embedded within him to fix. Like Carson's inability to recognize when a play's broken down and throw things away. But yeah, it was a shame to see that his exception just happened to screw us that quarter. I think if we got 4 full quarters out of our offense and Jalen, that we would have had a significantly better shot at winning the game because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we saw 3 touchdowns. No, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns total in the second quarter from him. Um, I think that was. I think if he was able to play that way and he had started that way, uh, we would be much better off. But you know, as far as like I said, as far as problems go, I think it's a little. I think with the correct amount of training, these things are fixable. And while for this season they are certainly not the best, in terms of next season, these in my mind it gives me hope.
Absolutely. With him being a rookie, these things are easily fixable. Like you said, he's only 2.5 games into his young career.
Mm,
And during the off season, you'll have plenty of time to work with it, as long as the coaching staff emphasizes on certain problems for him to try and focus on and correct.
yeah.
We should be fine. But like you're mentioning, we're very optimistic with him. Like
Uh,
this thing, or this game, he threw for 338 yards and 3 touchdowns.
yeah.
And then he also ran the ball for 63 yards and a touchdown.
Hmm.
Other than that first quarter, he had a very, very good game.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it was like I said, if we could have continued that from the first quarter onward, I think honestly, we definitely would have won the game, but we definitely would have had a better chance to win that game. But one thing that I did come out of that came out of this game that I was really optimistic about, not only just Jalen, but the connection between him and Greg Ward. That got me. That was every time he caught a touchdown, I was like jumping up and down because that was so nice to see that connection. Like when Carson and Zach Ertz had that connection, in prior years, that was great to watch, and it was almost like that's another route of a backup plan once the plan goes to crap that they can idolize. You know, I remember I know at least one of the touchdowns that Ward caught. He was it was very late. The play had been going on for a while, and Hurts was scrambling, and it was nice to see. And with with our receiver situation, which I know we mentioned last week, is certainly not the best. I remember watching the game, and I took a picture of this statistic. DeAndre Hopkins has 1,155 receiving yards entering Week 15, and Ward, Fulgham, and Rager have a combined of 1,140. So I don't think the words don't have a decent wide receiver core do it justice as to how dire our wide receiver situation is. But that connection between Ward and Jalen, if that can carry through in the next season and, the cards are dealt right and everything, and Jalen's the starting quarterback, I think that's definitely something that we should watch out for.
I think it could be something special. Greg Ward, and I think I touched on this last week. Greg Ward was one of the people that stood up for Jalen Hurts in this quarterback controversy.
Yes.
One of the first people to come out with him. Mm-hmm. And I believe they do know each other prior to getting to this team as well.
Yeah.
So they do have a really close connection, and that can be seen with the targets that he's getting, the catches, the touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And it is nice to see. I also saw Jalen Hurts targeting Alshon Jeffrey quite a bit.
Yes.
And honestly, it's good to see because as much controversy as Alshon gets for like his contract size and always being hurt, mm-hmm. like now to see him back, some of the catches he makes, it really is like number one wide receiver material, some of the mm-hmm. stuff that he does. Yeah. And it reminds me of what he was doing in 2017, some of the catches he made through that playoff run.
Yeah.
And I just hope that, Jalen Hurts can keep building his chemistry up with some of these receivers, especially some of the younger ones. Mm-hmm. And I hope we have very good connections moving forward.